done this. So I want you to put these values in for X. By symmetry, the output for -4 will be the same as the output for -2. All right, so I'm gonna just step away for 30 seconds by the time I get back, let me know if you have any questions or if you have the answers here, but I'll be right back with you.
Okay.
All right, Karthik, I'm back here. Do you have some answers for me for any of these outputs?
I'm still working on it.
Whenever you're
I-
ready, no rush.
yeah. I got -12 for -1.
Okay, I agree. And that should be the same for -5 by symmetry.
It'd be -6 for -2, and then -6 for 4 because of symmetry.
Very good. Okay. So a rough sketch, I'm just going to do a rough sketch of this. You can do a more exact one if you want, but it looks something like this. Okay. And that's the point, -3, 0. That's your really rough sketch. Okay, now it doesn't, well, it kind of asks for it, but you can graph it more accurately on your own. You can graph these points. So any questions about what we've done so far before we move on to the other stuff that it asks for?
No.
Okay, it's because the next 4 things, increasing, decreasing, domain, and range, that's stuff we've already done. And actually, I'm just put it right here. This is all review. Now, if you recall, increasing and decreasing is the X values only. You do not care about the Y values, X values only. Okay, so give me the X values where this is increasing.
It's from -infinity parentheses to yeah, to -3.
Okay.
And then decreasing from -3 to +infinity.
Good. The domain is -infinity to infinity. We talked about that. That's probably always going to be that.
And then the range is -infinity to 0.
The 0, and it includes 0.
Yeah.
Includes 0. All right. Now this piecewise part is a little bit harder to do, but you're going to see there's a pattern here. All right. So what kind of slope does this part on the left have? Positive or negative?
That would be a negative slope.
It goes up
Oh,
and
no,
to the right.
oh yeah, a positive. The
Right.
other side would be
And the one
negative.
over here has a negative slope. So the first thing is that you can break it apart here where you have X greater than -3 and X less than -3. And actually, I need to flip these. I apologize. You do the left one first, then the right. So there's the 2 pieces there.
Got it.
Now, the one here on the one with positive slope has to have positive slope. The one that has negative slope on the right here has to have a negative slope. Okay. So the first one here is negative 6x plus 3. The reason is because when you multiply this in, you get negative 16. I'm sorry, negative 6x minus 18. And that has negative slope. That's this one on the right here.
Got
Okay.
it.
The other one you get by, and there's a couple ways to do it. You can just negate this, so it becomes 6 times x plus 3. Because it's already negative, you can just negate it, which becomes 6x plus 18. Like that. And then so you just use some reasonableness, like a function 6x plus 18 means it's going to come up here and hit. That's right. Minus 6 minus 18 is going to come down here and hit. Is that okay? Questions on that? I think we should do a few more of like piecewise things.
Wait,
Like we
so
could
then what
discuss
could
those.
you, yeah, so could, for the bot, oh, yeah, I was gonna ask for the bottom one, but then I saw it down there that you could also negate that and it'd be negative 18 if you multiply out the negative 6 and then, yeah. All right,
So what my concern though is like, so that what they do in the classrooms, they say the absolute value of x equals, and then they say x for x greater than 0 and negative x for x less than 0. And this is great. This is totally true. But like we just learned, like what if something more complicated? What if it's like x minus 3? Like what does that become? Well, it becomes itself for x greater than 3. So wherever kind of the dividing point is, which is 3, that's where you get exactly this. But the other one then is the negation of it, negation of the whole thing. So in one case, because we know the graph of this thing, looks like this. It's itself for the right one. And then it's the negative of itself for the left one.
got it.
Have you seen that before? Does that look familiar to you?
Kind of, I think we might have done that earlier, the first chunk or something like that.
So there's a bit more though. Like there's other things to consider. Like what if there's a number out in front? Let's say there's like a 5 absolute value x plus 1. So this time the breakpoint is wherever this equals 0. Where does this equal 0 inside here?
That would equal 0 when x is greater than 1.
Negative 1. So we have x greater than negative 1, x less than negative 1.
So it'd be the opposite of the, oh yeah, the opposite of the h value.
Well, yeah, you're literally setting the inside part equal to 0 and solving for x. You're setting the inside part equal to 0 and you're solving for x.
Got it.
All right, so again, for the one on the right, typically the one on the right, because this looks like this now, it's just itself without the absolute value.
Got
For
it.
the one on the left, it's the negative of it. And then you have to look in your notes or talk to your instructor to find out if you're supposed to simplify this or not.
Yeah, then if they do say they want you to simplify it, then you would just multiply out the 5, and then you'd get.
So for these couple of examples I've done here, they've all opened up. There's a small change when it opens down. So now let's look at some that open down. Okay. Let's say it's negative absolute value x minus 2. So graphically, this looks like this. At 2, it goes down like that. So this is where it becomes x greater than 2, x less than 2. Why is it 2? Because that's where it equals 0. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, normally the x greater than 2 becomes exactly this. Okay. So let's just try that. If we put the negative of that in there, do we get something with negative slope? Like when you distribute the negative in here and you get, I'll show it above here. You get
Yeah,
negative x.
you would get
Right.
negative x, which means you get a negative slope.
So notice it still work. There is no change, whether it opens up or down. The other one is the negation of it. So the negation of it here becomes x minus 2 because that negative is negated. So, full disclosure, the one to the right of the breakpoint, the vertex, is always itself without the absolute value. The one to the left is the negation of it.
Got it.
Okay, so just to see if you've got it, let me put a new problem up here. Okay, and I want you to figure out what goes over here to the right. I'm going to just step away for 30 seconds or more. I'll be right back to check on you. Let me just scroll up just a tiny bit so you can see it. All right, there we go. All right, be right back. All right, Karthik, let me know if you have an answer, if you have any questions here.
Okay, so I got -4 times x plus 4, then x is greater than 4.
Okay, so there's a problem there. You're setting this part equal to 0 for that.
Oh wait, I forgot that's the opposite of h, then it's -4.
Yeah,
And then the other part would, the second part of it would be 4 times x plus 4. X is less than -3.
very good, very good. Okay, so this is good. This is really important. Like you want to study these examples. They're not that complicated. You also want to just like make a rough sketch of this, meaning like, okay, it's left 4 and it's like does this match? Is the one to the right of -4 have negative slope? Yes, it does. Does the one left of -4 does it have positive slope? Yes, it does. Okay. All right. So when you're ready, if you want to send over another example, we can look at that and
All right. Alright, it's in the chat, the next question.
All right, there it is. All right, so this one looks like maybe I can just step in. Yeah, all right. So we're gonna, I don't really like, so let's talk about the transformations here first. All right, so there are 1, 2, 3 of them. 3 of them. Can you tell me any of them? I'll take any. If you give me one, I'd be happy.
So, first, let's see. It would be 6 down.
So down 6, that's actually the third transformation. That's good. All right, let's do this in order here. X minus 4. So it's always opposite. It's always opposite when it's inside parentheses. I don't know why it's taught that way, but that's the way it's taught. X minus 4 means left or right 4.
So this one would be right 4.
It would be right 4. Very good. Okay. Right 4. And then the 2 is the next one. What is that when it's kind of outside the function is what I call it, or reference it.
So that would be a vertical actually it'd be
Stretch
a vertical stretch, yeah, vertical
because it's
stretch.
greater than 2. Yep. And then you have to say, usually you have to say by a factor of. Some instructors just let you say vertical stretch 2. It's really a factor. It's really a multiplication.
Good.
Okay. All right. Now, can you tell me where the vertex is on this one?
It
And
would
it has to do with the right and the down.
it would be at 4 comma -6.
Yes. Very good. Really important. So when you get that there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There you go. Now this thing opens up, so it's got kind of this shape. And I don't know how accurate your graphs need to be. This one is not very accurate. But the fact that you got the vertex, that is super, super important. Okay. So what I'd like you to do next now is the increasing, decreasing domain and range for this.
All right. Increasing would be from -6 or oh wait, increasing is what it would be from 4 to infinity
For which one, increasing or
for
decreasing?
increasing.
Yeah, I agree with that. Keep going.
And for decreasing, it would be from -infinity to 4.
Good. Keep going.
And the domain would be -infinity to comma infinity.
Okay.
The range would be -6 included to infinity, comma infinity.
Okay. Now the piecewise is what we've been doing. So if you need to look back in your notes, or if you need me to scroll up, I can. There's a bit more with this. So actually I probably ought to show you this one. So because we didn't cover any with the well, we kind of did the other day, but it's probably not enough to do. So here we go. So this is, and you need the breakpoints. What's the 2 breakpoints over here on the right for
The
the
two
pieces? What's
uh
the,
wait,
how do we figure out what goes over here? It's based on where
oh,
the
it would
inside
be
part is equal to
negative.
0.
It would be for the limits, it would be positive 4 that you would
X
use,
greater than 4, and then
and
X.
X less than 4.
Okay, and the one to the right is always exactly what you have.
So 2x minus 4. All right. So then you just
Yes,
use, so then you just change the absolute value signs into kind of,
exactly.
put them as parentheses and then do, all right. And then
Right on.
for the bottom one, you just, negate it and then put the negative around everything.
Right, around everything. All right, good, really good.
All right. So these two.
And you can simplify if you need to. I think you're going to be expected to simplify. Like, I think this is probably a reasonable
Yeah,
simplification. +6 because you're giving it to both terms. But
I
in
think
terms
that,
of like,
yeah, I think she might want us to simplify that one just because it's just multiplying a negative, which would just, yeah, make it -2
I mean,
x
you could go further.
minus.
You could -2x +8 +6. You could simplify the other one. I don't know what you're going to be expected to do. So just consider that when you're working through this.
Got it.
All right, so whenever you're ready, if you want to send over another problem for us to look at, we can do that.
All right, it's in the chat now.
Cool.
Kind of
And
similar to
yeah,
what we were doing, except without the shrink or stretch factor. So it's just the absolute value.
well, couple of things here now. I don't know, did your instructor talk about how to simplify something like this? Because that may have come up here. So what you can do is inside absolute value, you can factor out a 3 from both. Do you agree with that?
I think we did talk about that, but I think we didn't quite get how to do it. But
So your
how to
your number
factor it
one
out.
type of factoring, and you learned this in Algebra 1, is you always try GCF. Greatest common factor. So is there a number that goes into both? And the answer is, well, maybe. In your problems, it probably will. So now this is quite odd. There's a property here that says the absolute value of A times B is the absolute value of A times the absolute value of B. All right, so how does that apply here? It becomes the absolute value of 3 times the absolute value of x minus 2. What is the absolute value of 3? It is 3. We'll do a couple more of these after. Um, let's just get through the rest of the problem though. So can you tell me the vertex of this absolute value, please?
The vertex would be so 2, 0.
Two commas are good. So that's the middle place in your table. And then you choose 2 smaller and 2 larger. So could you complete the rest of this table for us, please? And I'll be right back.
0.
All right, let me know if you got get any answers there for me.
So I got -6 for 0, and it'd be the same thing for 4.
Can't be negative
Oh, right.
because the absolute value returns positive and you have a positive
Wait,
here.
so then, oh, yeah, so then that would be 6 for 0, and then 6 for 4,
Okay, agreed.
and then for the one, let me put it in again, that'd be, yeah, still, uh, so it'd be 3 for 1, and then 3 for 3.
Good. So I want you to make a sketch on yours from the table, a rough sketch if you want. And then I'll confirm it.
All right, so here's
All right, I am back. Do you have a quick sketch of this, a rough sketch?
yeah,
So it should be something like this where it hits at 2 and it goes up and it goes up, something like that. You could have
yeah.
more accurate dots. What is the vertex? You already told me 2, 0. Your instructor may want you to label 5 points on there. So, so that's the question to ask is like how many points to label? And usually it's 5. Okay. Could you tell me increasing, decreasing domain and range, and then we'll talk about the piecewise part of it.
So increasing would be from negative or not negative, from 2 to infinity,
Good.
and decreasing from -infinity to 2. Domain would be -infinity to infinity. And then the range would be from 0 included to positive infinity.
Right. So notice the range is the only thing that includes the y value.
Mm.
All right. All right. So let me grab this for the piecewise part. I think it's best to do the breakpoints first. The x inequality, but that's you're math student, you get to decide. Go ahead and see if you can come up with it.
Um, I got 3 times x minus 3 parentheses x minus 2.
Okay,
And then x is greater than 2.
okay, good.
And then for the negating one, I simplified it down so it'd be -3 times, or in parentheses, x minus 2.
Okay,
And then x is less than 2.
good. Very good. All right, that's perfect. Any questions on that? You seem like you have it down, in my opinion.
Alright, let me put down the transformation. So the transformations for this one. So wouldn't it be
Oh yeah, we didn't do transformations. So that's another reason why you got to do this simplified form before we do more of them. Yeah, there are two transformations. So let me
yeah, so one of them is the vertical stretch of by a factor of 3.
okay, that's the second one. The order does matter. Now your instructor may not emphasize that, but for real math students, it does matter. Just good math students. Great
And
not to.
the and it's to the right too, right by
Very
2
good.
units.
Good. Very good.
So it's right by 2.
Good. Okay, so let's try another problem here. Where I give you something like this. I say it's the absolute value of 5x plus 15. Okay. And the expectation here is that you first look for what is called GCF, or greatest common factor factoring. Is there a number that goes into both 5x and 15?
5 and
Or
15 would be 5.
5. So you can factor a 5 out. X plus 3. The absolute value remains.
I do have a question.
Sure. Yeah, yeah.
When it goes to the absolute value of 5 and then the parentheses x plus 3, could you simplify the 5 times the x plus 3, or would you have to keep it separate?
You do simplify the absolute value of 5 to just 5.
So you find the absolute value of each of them separately, and then
Exactly. Exactly.
got it. Yeah, then from there you can find like the transformations, which in this case would be like a
Well, let me do a few more examples with you because I'm going to build up into the difficulty. So let's say it's -2 absolute value 4x plus 4. Okay. So now this -2 on the outside, or whatever's on the outside, it's just going to keep coming down. Okay. But you do the same thing we've been doing all along. And then it's the absolute value of 4, absolute value of x plus 1. See how I can just keep bringing this -2 down?
yeah,
But what is the absolute value for?
4,
4. So this is -2 times 4.
which is -8. So then you get
Right.
-8 and the x plus 1, or
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah. Right.
got it. And then you get your the
And
piecewise function that you
let's
can
just say
solve
I
for
had
that.
a -3 on the outside. It just keeps coming down.
Yeah, I got it. So then so in other words, the a and the k of the piecewise function never change. Like the
They
a
just
in this
come.
case
Yeah.
was negative, or
Yeah.
the a doesn't the a does change if it's multiplied by something, but it doesn't like go away.
Let's
Got
try a
it.
little bit more difficult one. Let's say it's one. Let's say it's 6 absolute value 1/2 x minus 2. Okay, so this one's a little bit tougher. When you factor out the 1/2, tell me what goes inside parentheses here, please. Take a moment to get that down, but this one's just a tiny bit different. Make sure you can cover this. Feels like it could be a quiz question.
So k of x, x,
What do you got here?
um,
All right, let me do
oh
this.
my
Let me
God.
write the correct answer. And notice that the number got larger in magnitude because you're taking half of it. Half of 4 gets you back to 2. In the previous problems, you were dividing, so they got smaller. So when you have a fraction out in front, the numbers get bigger.
Oh wait, so oh yeah, I was gonna ask what happened to 6. Then you get 6 and then
Well, I'll add a few here. I mean, these are irrelevant, but I understand you want to see them each time. So it's 6 absolute
yeah, so
value, one
yeah,
half.
that's what I was gonna ask because I didn't see the 6 there. So then yeah, so then so the 6 goes down, number changes until you multiply it by the absolute value of
Yes,
half.
yes, yes. So this becomes 3 absolute value x minus 4 minus 1.
Um,
So what I want to do is give you a problem to try where you have to do all of this and then give me the transformations. Like you can't give them to me from its original form. You have to go all the way down here to give me the transformation. So when you're ready, I'd
and
like to,
so does the absolute value, like if it's for example where you put 6 and the absolute value of half, yeah, there, um, would it be implied multiplication between
yes, it's implied multiplication,
between the two absolute values as well, or just the 6 times half?
all of them.
Got
They're all
it.
implied multiplication.
And then
If there's no plus or minus, it's implied multiplication. So white space or a dot, or a multiplication is multiplication.
got it.
White space is multiplication. These are great questions because nobody ever tells you. And then you're like, how do I know? Okay, let me give you an example here. Let me know if you need another moment to write this down.
And I think I got it down.
Okay, let's say it's f of x equals -8, absolute value, 1/4 x minus 1 plus 2. It's the same idea here. I'm going to step away for a minute, but this one has a bunch of transformations. So let me know when you get the final form, and then we'll talk about the transformations.
All right.
All right, Karthik, how are you doing?
Still working on it.
All right. All right. Let me know if you have any questions here.
Yeah.
Alright, I think I got it. So yeah, then I added the +2 to the end of it, and then yeah, that's exactly what I did. Then I did, and I got -2 for that, and then yeah, x minus 4 plus 2. So I got right 5.5 units. I don't think your mic is working.
Oh yeah, sorry. Where did you get where did you get the 5 from? It should be right 4.
I got 5.5 from taking 1/4 of wait, can you scroll up just a little bit to the original? Oh, I think that's where it went wrong. I wrote down -11 instead of -1. That's probably why, because I
Okay,
took half
okay,
of
there you go. All right, so
-11.
yeah,
So
so let me finish this off here. This is a vertical stretch by factor of 2. And again, that's probably a question for your teacher. Reflection, x-axis, and then and then up 2, like that.
yeah, I put the vertical stretch like for like switch up the order a bit, but I don't think I got the reflection. Oh yeah, because it's a negative. I think I forgot about the reflection over the
So
x-axis.
the order really matters, really matters. Now, if the instructor is not emphasizing that, that's fine. You know, you can, what, I can't,
Yeah,
the order really matters, you know, in
yeah, because
life.
I put right 4 units first, up 2 units, and then the vertical shrink.
Yeah, so let me make a note here to talk about at some point, talk about why and then how you determine the order. Because I don't think it's made clear. The other thing we need to do if we have time tomorrow is something like this: absolute value of x plus 1 plus 3, absolute value of x plus 1. We do some problems like that. So, all right, Karthik, I do got to run. I do appreciate you scheduling